thank you for the introduction. So just let me open the slides. Okay, it's good to go. Okay, so how are you all? Good. I hope that that you have just had a tea and coffee that make you refreshed. Because after lunch, people makes lazy a bit. So that's why I'm avoiding the food. Like when I need to give a talk or something. So my talk is about the serverless authentication with JWT. So if you can see, these are the three different things: serverless, authentication, and JWT. Okay. Again, so by combination of these three things, we gonna explore. Okay, what is actually gonna be? So everyone know about the serverless. That was the whole theme about like serverless. So little bit about myself. So I am Mehul Patel from India. So I am an engineer in the Zimbra. So Zimbra is basically an open source email collaboration solutions which serves in more than 130 plus countries. So the rapid things about the Zimbra is like it's first is acquired by the Yahoo, then take over by the VMware, and then now we are working with the Sinaco. So lots of transition in things and learns lots of about the Zimbra and the open source. The next thing, I'm a very active part of the community called Mozilla, Firefox, and Auth0. So these are the community who is being built by the staff, ambassadors, representative, contributors like us, okay, and give the talk and share about the technical knowledge about the various developer-facing events like this. So it's always good to fun and interact with the guys and the people like us who's being always ready to share what they're learning and what they're doing with digging into it. So apart from them, I'll also work something with about the OpenStack, since I'm a certified engineer by the Red Hat. So there are lots more to talk, but let's go because I have 15 minutes. And to be honest, just let me confess myself, I never gave a talk for 15 minutes. And this is something that I can explain you in 15 minutes, but I'll try my best for sure. So whenever I start exploring anything, so the first question is coming to my mind, like what and why. Generally, there are three questions coming, how as well, okay? But with serverless, like recently I've started exploring, so say, hey, what is serverless and why serverless? So if you can see, so what I'm thinking, the serverless is a next major, shift in the cloud computing. So this is why it's called as serverless, and also you can call it as a function as a service first. So there was last week, there's one funny thing happened with me. So in my company, like every Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing something, giving this talk and the conference, I'm preparing for it. So one of my colleagues came to me. He's working in Q and asking me, hey Mehul, what are you doing for this week? I said, I'm preparing for the serverless and this is something that I'm exploring. He said that serverless, so this is something that there is no server? I said, this is funny. Means serverless, so I explained them, the serverless is nothing, nothing means that there is no server involved. But this is something that developers no need to take care about the servers, like how this is working, what are the things you're taking care of. Because what I've seen and observed throughout last 3 years while I'm working, and I did some project when I was graduating. So see that if developer always needs to take about what the server could be, what the server configuration, what kind of application that's run on that particular software is, it is discoverable or not. Make sure that whatever the application they're going to run, they need to install, configure, require some kind of packages. They always need to see that if it's compatible to run that applications or not. Also, the more thing about it, always the security concern. This is what we are going to talk about this today. To always patch your operating system, patch your application. When we get some kind of vulnerabilities to your application, so developer always give me headache like, okay, what should I do now? Like we need to dig into the operating system. What the next thing we do? So yeah, okay. One quick question: what is vulnerability? Anyone? I have only a few minutes. Yes, anyone? What is vulnerability? Yep. Yes? Yes, what is vulnerability? Yeah? Okay. So this is something what I call like that door is opened and it's ready, like it's come and attack. This is something like I got my flaw in my system and it's door open for everyone to just go and attack myself. So the topic would have said that it always been headache for the developers to dig into the servers. So the serverless makes the task very easy. We can see like how the transition is being going, like from the physical machine, from the virtual machines. Virtual machines, like we have seen so many virtual machines like KVM, OpenZ. OpenZ is the first container-based virtualization. Then we come up with the Docker and platform as a service. Now, the good thing is now we have a serverless. So, okay, this is something I got it from like when I was digging into one of the forum called dzone. So this is something that, like when we managing our servers, so we need, it's a lot of time consuming, right? We are monitoring our servers, configuring our server, making, security analysis, making some kind of auditing and all. So it's a time consuming task. And for that, we require a dedicated and experienced people who can actually do this task. So if anyone asks me like, hey, why serverless? So I would prefer that this is the biggest trend in the cloud computing, that I think it will change the people mindset, the way writing and the managing the applications. So this is one of my favorite code that focus on code, not on servers, which I inspired from the Auth0 blog. So I recently started exploring with them as well. So this is something, like when developers comes and like, okay, talk about the traditional scenario, what we were doing in the past. So the software engineer, okay, had to dig into the server, okay, discover what kind of things they are doing. So they need to explore everything about the server. But now the developers writing the code as per the business logic to implement that, because something called business logic is addressable, but not an individual server, I guess. So this is a main topic that we're going to discuss. What is serverless authentication? So okay, before that, what is authentication and what is authorization? There is a very thin line between them. Anyone tell me what is authentication?
Who are you?
Sorry?
Authentication is who are you?
Yeah, right. And what is authorization?
What can you do?
Right. So authentication nothing but is it's nothing but your identity. Like, by you get a login screen, you are giving your username and password. It will authenticate you, and then it will authorize you whether you are the person who gives the right to access that particular application or something. So it's always about the right access to the right people. Again, the limited, like the way you configure and the way you want. So here, so authentication has always been an important factor for the success of any application and any architecture. But serverless architecture, I think no exception for this. So when we talk about the authentication, so serverless is come and becoming a norm. So authentication, something like we always wanted to explore authentication and doing something, dig into it. So one of the, for example, okay, if you, how many of you using Gmail? Yeah, me too. Okay, so have you, so the one thing, have you ever logged into a Gmail account? Okay, have you think like when you get that login page, okay, and have anything happened like we log in with your account and you cannot see some of the folders? Any happen with anyone? Sometimes. Like you cannot see in your inbox folder, only inbox folder. Sometimes all the folders, but you can only see the other folders, subfolders. So this is where actually this kind of authentication and authorization actually works in the backend side. So thankfully, when I started my career, like I work for the Google App Service, so I got to know about how the actually authentication work at the backend side. So if we are talking about the authentication, so one of the major thing like if comes as a serverless platform, so we always think about as how we can write according to the business functionality, and that way we can deploy it instead of running and hosting our application as an authentication platform. So one of the cool tool I come to across about the Auth0, which is the leading serverless authentication provider. We have other tools as well, like you can go and think about the Azure AD and Okta, which I recently explored as well. So this is the concept called SSO, single sign-on. So within a single sign-on, you can manage your multiple application. But again, it's a complex to because if you're talking about the authentication, so which is one of the complex feature I ever come across, but to implement that, that need to be implemented correctly. That's the actually challenging task. Only 5 minutes. 10 minutes over. Okay. So yeah. So I'll go with the other one. So let's talk about the JWT. So JWT is nothing but a JSON web-based tokens, So which is a compact and self-contained, which is we are using to transfer our information securely from one user to the another user or multiple user or the multiple parties. Okay, so if I would like to explain about some of the compact, so compact nothing but is very smaller in size, which means that if you want to send the query, so you can send it through your URL as well, from post meta printer as well, and from the HTTP inside header as well. And the self-contained is nothing but it contains the payload, and payload have all the information about the users which you can use it. So okay, think about like when you should use the JSON Web Tokens, when you can use the JWT. So there are two things, which is common scenario where you can simply apply a JWT and use it. First thing is authentication, and the second is when you want to exchange your information, because these are the two things very important that goes from the secure environment. The authentication, like when we log into the user, it send the query to the servers again, and okay, see that okay this particular thing is authorized or not. Then you again send back to, and you will get that metadata. Like your after login, you will get something, right? Your UI or your email or something. So this is how they work. I'll give you like how it actually showing up. And exchange your information. So this is where you can use JWT to transfer the information, but for that you need to sign it. Okay, for that you need to implement something. So I'll tell you what's that. So what is the web token structure? So these are the three things I'll tell you. Like if you want to exchange your information, these are the things that you need to implement. So header, payload, and the signature. So what is the header? So header consists of okay, can we give the demo as well, right? We have time. Yeah. So I'll quickly show you like how we can. So I would like to explore this. Okay. This is something that I always hate. Yeah, that the only thing that I can do right now. Okay, so header consists of the information about like what particular hashing algorithm that you are going to use and what type of token you are using. Obviously, the token type would be the JWT, and the hashing algorithm like hashmap, RSA, this kind of algorithm that you can use it. Payload nothing but have the information about like what particular information that you are going to transfer between the sum of the parties. For that, you need to claim that information. So for that, there are three types of claim that you can do it, but most probably we are using the private claim. There are three actually, the registered, public, and private. So in the private, the good thing about the private that you can, it's a custom tag, okay? So you can customize it, what kind of information that you want, you can simply put it over there. And in the signature you need to encode the header and the payload, and then you need to sign in on. So for that, it's very easy if you want to just encode the JW2 and let you know how it shows. So this is the encoded JWS token. This is how it looks like. If you can see header dot payload signature, so this is the way you can separate it. And the below, if you can see, this is the encoded format what I mentioned earlier. Okay, the header, payload, and the signature. If you want to generate this, there is a I think you should explore jw2.io. This is a very good where you can just need to put the information in, sign it, and you will get that code. Whatever the information that you wanted to pass, that's it. So how we can implement this? Okay, like for example, you have so many applications and you want to implement the authentication module and you want to authorize that for your application. So it's very easy. I would recommend you to go and go to auth0.com/open source. So this is give you the access to how you can authorize your application within a few of minutes. How you can authenticate it, and also it will give you some of the options that will authorize with one of your social accounts called Microsoft, Google, GitHub, Facebook. Also, if you give you the chance to add with your enterprise login as well, like Microsoft Azure as well, right? So the one of the key thing that I come across with this is it will give you the total control of the functionality, like what you are guys doing in total thing that what you want to customize it. But the one of the thing that the people always hate to do is like managing the application and managing the things. Here you no need to do that. No need to take care about it. Just go ahead what the application that you want to use, any damn applications, any damn stack, and The thing is about you can customize it the way you want your user to log in, the way you authenticate, and the way you want your user to authorize. Okay, you can simply implement that. So there is one demo. Okay, so but I'm here only. So if you can come, I'll show you the demo how you can implement the SSO. I have the right demo here as well, and how you can pass these security tokens. So this is the tool. It's a very easy to use dashboard. You can just simply drag and drop, create your application, create your SSO. Just make sure that the kind of function that you're passing, it could be same wherever you're mentioned in your code. This is something dashboard is look like. This is a fresh dashboard. There are, you can see so many clients, SSO integration, connections, so where you can find all the social media connection, database, everything is there. Here you can create your application, any language that you want. This is all the social media, like from where you want your user to log in. Again, you can customize it. So if you want to explore more about it, so there is very beautiful documentation created by the Auth0. You can go here, you can talk it. Yeah, so before that, okay, I managed to do that. But this is quick fast actually. So many things I actually missed actually. So with authentications and this kind of modules, okay. So always think about this the four kind of security vulnerabilities that we always think: broken authentication, exposed security data, security misconfiguration, and the fourth one, which is very important, is called injection. So whenever you build an application, doesn't matter serverless. Okay, so these are the four things that we always explore and try to implement that. A quick question. I hope you are all guys aware about the OAPS top 10, right? So OAPS is the one organization who every year they're releasing the top 10 vulnerabilities with regards to your web application, your web servers, and so many things. So that you need to apply and make sure that your application is secure. I got to know about these things when I working with the Mozilla staff and this. So recently they have been using Persona. Then they recently migrated to the Auth0. So again, if you go to any portal, so they have so many kind of applications that people are using it, right? But what kind of access you need to give to them? For example, if you're talking about the Mozilla, there are staff is working, there are representative working, there are contributors are working, so many people are working. They all can access to the website with the same social media authentication and the kind of platform they have been customized. But they don't have access to every area. Why? Because they have customized it. Though they can log in from the same panel, same thing, like with one single medium, one single identity, but they have the restricted. So the thing is customization that you can definitely do. Okay, and I'm here only if you have any question, like you can ping me on Telegram, Twitter, and so like I hope I made it in 15 minutes. Okay, this is the first time I made it in 15 minutes. I never talk this much of fast. Okay, anyways, so come, and if you want to show demo, I'll show you the demo, like how you can implement SSO. It's little complex, but I'm sure that you will understand for sure. And thank you.